Well, afternoon, everybody. This is the Bond Man here, and I noticed that I have 37 subscribers, which is not bad, not good either. I mean, I'm not really active on my channel, but I'm actually going to try to be. Mostly because I want to be viral like everyone else. Takes a lot of hard work though. I'm not actually going to give vlogging a try, but the reason I'm here is because I'm gonna open up a little bit more. I'm gonna try to show you my face a little bit more, and I'm gonna try, to make videos about me growing up with Asperger syndrome, and it's believe it or not, it's actually a very courageous thing for a lot of people to do, especially Aspies as we call ourselves, because the truth of the matter is, being autistic or having Asperger syndrome, it's really no picnic. I mean, it has its good qualities, bad qualities. Um, so I'm gonna give you like some insight. This first video is gonna basically tell you on growing up with Asperger syndrome. Um, I think when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I knew that I was different from other people, brain wise. Um, I didn't think I was stupid or anything, but I knew that I was different. I think in kindergarten, and in first grade, I kind of had trouble, paying attention, cooling down, trying to stay focused. I mean, even to this day, I still have focusing issues. But the truth of the matter is that growing up with Asperger's syndrome, like I said, it's no picnic. But so uh, I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome in first grade, but I wasn't told about it until seventh grade, and for good reason. When my mom told me this, I wasn't angry, more shocked, and I asked her why, and she said, in if I was told about it in first grade, I would have not understood it, and I would have been a lot more scared and paranoid, which I actually completely 100% agree with, and I applaud her for that. Um, I have terrific parents, I really do. Um, the one thing I always loved about my parents is that they weren't like military strict or anything like that, but they weren't flimsy either. I mean, like all parents, they laid down the law when they had to, and you know they uh, they would discipline us when they had to. And the one thing that my parents wanted for my brother and I was to succeed. I mean, every parent wants that. Um, but I'm getting off track here. So, um, anyway, growing up with Asperger's syndrome, you see, me particularly, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but there's high function and low function. I don't know whether a high function Asperger's syndrome kid is the one who's very antisocial and lives in his own world, and then low functioning is like very the exact opposite. But the way I look at it is I'm high functioned, and anyway, as I said, the way I look at it is that I was a high function Asperger's kid, which means that I was very social. I liked making good conversation, said a lot of random weird things, and as a kid, I have no idea why, but I've made up my own language. And I made up like a bunch of gibberish words that had really no definition. And the one person who really enjoyed it was my dad, believe it or not. And you know, he kind of played along because he just thought it was just so damn cute. But I think then around fourth or fifth grade, I kind of stopped doing it, because I kind of outgrew it. Um, and so that's kind of one of the other traits of it. I mean, as a kid, I was pretty shy, but my parents, they wanted me to, be social and be polite like everyone else, and they did a good job with that. They really did, because if they didn't, push me to be, social and have a social life and stuff, I really don't think I would have survived school at all. But it's not to say that sometimes my socialness went a little too far. Sometimes, I would annoy some people. I would talk their ears off, and I didn't have an off button, and I would. The one thing that I liked doing for people was I liked entertaining them. I liked performing to them. I would sing for them. I would dance for them. I would do my voices. I'm a voiceover artist, by the way. Not professionally, but really trying to get into that realm. I'm also a baseball announcer too. Uh, so anyway, we'll talk about that in another video. But uh, one of the other problems that I had as a kid was I didn't take hints, like facial expressions. For instance, if someone would get bored by me or annoyed by me, I wouldn't let that sink in. I always wanted the spotlight to be on me, and I'm man enough to admit this, that if somebody else had the spotlight on him, I would get really butthurt and sometimes literally push them out of the way and say, me, me, me. I always had a it's all about me attitude, and kind of, the world revolves around me. And, there are some kids that are like that. And there are some kids that just, want to be out of the spotlight. But me, I always wanted to be on the spotlight. I always wanted the attention to flow around me. Um, I like to think that I'm not like that anymore. I mean, there are certain times where I like to, have people pay attention to me and stuff. But I'm not hungry for the spotlight. I'm not saying everybody constantly look at me, look at me. I don't want to be looked at as someone who has a big ego, or someone who wants a spotlight on him 24/7. I'm not like that. In fact, in high school, I was through the roof when it came to performing and stuff. And at my high school, we had a stage in the quad, and there were a lot of people there that would dance and sing and perform for some people during lunchtime. And there have been maybe two or three occasions where there was this one kind of, sorry to say, kind of dorky kid, which I really have no room to talk on that one, but because I'm a dork myself. But there was this one kid who was dancing to Thriller on stage, and I went up to him and I went, no, no, off, off. And then I finished up, which to this day I completely regret, because that was just a rude thing to do. It was rude, it was egotistical, and it was just plain cold. And but anyway, shit happens. We all do a lot of shitty things in life, especially in middle school and high school. That's another thing, with for people being shitty in those years. Uh, Honestly, and I'm not trying to be egotistical. I'm actually being honest that I actually was pretty popular in high school. Because of my performing and stuff and my talents. And there are a lot of people that did, in fact, really like me and some that loved me. And I'm not going to lie, there were a lot of other people that actually hated me. And a lot of people would say, oh, they're just jealous of you or whatever. I don't think that's it. What it really was is that they were annoyed by me. I would always come up and talk their ears off, and, just go blah, 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 blah. And there have been several people, that told me, "Go away. You're annoying. Nobody likes you. You're a piece of shit." I've heard all of it. I've heard every dismissal in the book, and there were some that I did deserve, some that I didn't deserve. I mean, nobody deserves to be told to go away or nobody likes you or anything. But uh, there were. If I put myself in that person's shoes, then I probably would have understood, the go away thing. I mean, there are a lot of people that annoy me as well, and that I really want to tell to go away, but I don't, because that would be calling the kettle black, and I'm not that kind of guy. Um, but I do have some really amazing friends, about maybe four or five really close friends that I trust with my life. In fact, believe it or not, there's this there's this girl that I went to high school with, and the funny thing is, I went to high school. Well, she came to my high school for 1 year, just 1 year, and I think that was junior year. And in high school, we were just acquaintances. I mean, we knew who each other were, and we had an English class, and we talked off and on during school and stuff. And then she moved back to Oregon, and we just went our separate ways. But funny thing is, even though that we were acquaintances in high school, now to this day, we're actually really close friends, like very very close friends. And she lives in Oregon now with her husband and two kids, but we talk on the phone a lot, and we're kind of like brother and sister in a way. We're very close friends in a sibling kind of way. We love each other dearly, but not in a romantic kind of way, but in a platonic way. In other words, we don't have any romantic feelings for each other. We're just really close friends. And me personally, uh, I think it's healthy to have a close friendship with a girl and not have the idea of sex in your mind. And we both agree on that. Now, just getting back to aspect, that's another thing, where you kind of drift off into another subject and you kind of leave the other one behind. Um, when I found out, when I actually finally did find out that I had Asperger's syndrome, I was told about it. I was told what it was, and the symptoms and everything, and I was terrified. Not gonna lie, I was pretty terrified for many reasons. One, I actually thought that when I found out that I had some sort of I guess disability, I thought it was actually mentally retarded. I really for a long time thought that I was mentally retarded, and I had a lot of fears in life that I'm never going to succeed in life. I'm either going to live with my parents for the rest of my life or be a bum out on the streets or something like that. And that really scared me, but I've learned to I've learned to face those fears, and tell myself, no, you're not going to live with your parents for the rest of your life. You're not going to be a bum out of the streets if you work hard in school. And school is another thing. From seventh grade to senior year, I had a one-on-one aide, and throughout years, we actually developed a really close bond. And I mean, she lives in another state now, but we still talk off and on. And I gotta tell you, I take my hat off to her. She was really patient with me. She was I'm not gonna say a motherly figure because I have a mom, but she was a role model. We'll put it that way. She was a great role model for me, and she was really patient with me, and we love each other dearly, and But I'm gonna say this right now: if it wasn't for her, I probably would have failed high school. You know, um, that's just the truth. That's how. Even though I really don't like calling myself this, that's how lazy I was in high school. Mm. And yeah, so but anyway, I'm in college right now. I'm at Long Beach City College in Long Beach, California, and I'm in the radio TV department, and I'm doing a lot of on-camera work and voiceover work, and I'm currently a PA announcer for a small baseball team called the Long Beach Legends, which I love doing. And I do some on-camera work in the radio TV department at LBCC. I've interviewed two celebrities actually. I mean, not like big time celebrities, not like movie stars or anything, but I interviewed Olympic gold medalist Misty May, who was an Olympic volleyball champion, who is now the volleyball coach at Long Beach City College, which is really cool. I interviewed her; she's really really sweet. And for you radio fans out there who live here in LA, who grew up listening to Kareth 101 of the Gold Days, I interviewed legendary DJ Shotgun Tom Kelly. You better believe it, baby. And if you don't believe me, the video interview or the interview video is in my channel. So if you want to check it out, please feel free. It's a great story. So anyway, this is just a small preview on what it was like having Asperger's syndrome. If you have any questions or any video requests, please do not hesitate to ask. I'm always here to answer your questions. And like I said, if you have any video requests of certain things that I want to discuss with Asperger's syndrome, I'm always happy to help, and I'm always up for ideas. So, Bond Man out.